Good morning or good afternoon. Hello, Frank, and I'm 70 years old.
Tell us an interesting fact about you that maybe people don't know.
I was suggested by someone at the high school not to go to college, that I probably would not make it, and went down to Southern. It was going to be a Forester, and 4 years later I got my bachelor's. I was asked to come back and teach at the university, and I did that for 2 more years. Got a master's and went back a couple years ago and got a PhD.
Wow, congratulations.
So not bad for a dropout, huh?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Good success story. What is the craziest thing you've ever seen? Shocking.
My aunt and uncle lived on a farm down in Plainfield. We were up to visit my godparents. They did not know we had a pet. And the pet always was behind the couch. So when Sammy the skunk came out, my aunt freaked out.
A skunk?
A skunk.
Pet skunk?
We had a pet skunk. And I mean, she was on top of the Davenport, big lady, screaming. My uncle was, what the hell is a skunk doing in your house? So that's our pet. My oldest brother thought it would be a good pet for me to have. So we went and got one.
Oh, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a lot of people would tell you that story, but that's a true one.
You might have the crazy story of the day, actually. Switching gears, Frank, think about the most difficult time in your life. Is there any advice you'd give someone going through a similar situation?
Probably the most difficult time in my life are 2 people, my grandmother and my mother. Very close to my grandmother. Big old 98-year-old German lady. Don't play cards with her because she'd count every card. I'd make a move, she says, why didn't you play your king? Of what? Hearts. How do you know I had that? Play your king of hearts. You know, she was really a card player. And had never been in a hospital, gave all birth to kids on a farm. In the last 2 weeks of her life, we had to put her in a nursing home because she needed 24-hour care. And it came time for her to pass away. Very tough for me because her and I were just the best of buddies. We played cards all the time together. And so we're all over there and Gran quits talking. So they're all crying, nieces and nephews and grandkids and all that. So I go down to the desk and the nurse says, I don't know what to do. I said, I think my grandmother just passed away. So she goes down the room with me right away and does all the vitals. Yeah, your grandmother passed away. But I can't tell you that, I have to get a doctor. So she leaves the room and she's back in about 5-10 minutes. Doctor does the same thing. Your grandmother passed away. Went to move the blanket over her head. He stops. I said, what's wrong? He says, I think she's still alive. There's breath coming out of her nose. Let's play cards. No. And I said, old lady, you do that to me again, I'll kill you myself.
No.
We started playing cards, left her room at 2 o'clock that morning, and she died 4 o'clock that morning.
Oh my
and I says,
gosh.
And they said when she died, she had a smile on her face because she played and won her last game of pinochle. So I says, Jesus, look out, she's coming to get you. Don't play cards with this lady. And then my mother, my dad died of Alzheimer's. I moved back home and took care of him, getting ready to move, and my mom comes down with it. And about 1.5 years before she passed, we're sitting there eating and she got something caught in her throat. I mean, she turned purple. And I got it dislodged. Tears in my eyes because I thought I lost my mom for sure.
Did you do the Heimlich? Or?
Yeah, you know, thank God. And we hugged each other, we cried, and we laughed our hearts out. And then when she did pass away, I gave a little eulogy. I wasn't going to do it, but I got the nerve. I was able to get through it. And I said, you know, I didn't lose my mother today. I lost her 1.5 years ago. Because at that moment, 1.5 years prior to that, we really bonded. I mean, we were tight, but we really bonded. And I knew it was probably pretty close to her end. But she was able to understand who I was, and she knew what we were doing. So those are 2 probably most important people in my life.
If you could share some words of wisdom with every young person on the planet, if you had them as an audience here, what would you say?
Listen to your folks more. My dad was so old, didn't know a darn thing. And towards his later years, I said, you know, Dad, you're a darn smart man for only graduating from 8th grade. Everything he told me, warned me about, it came true. You know, I think as adults, as parents, we do the same thing for our kids, but you're old, Dad. You don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But you do.
Yeah. What is your favorite memory of your entire life? And again, there may be many of them, but is there one that pops out?
Graduating from college.
Okay.
No doubt about it. And a side story, went back to see, then he was a teacher of mine, but now he's a principal at that time. And I said, I graduated. He says, congratulations. And the person that told me not to go to school turned around, he was there. He said, would your old man buy that? And that's the first time he used the F word. I told him to F himself. I walked out. I felt great that I did that too.
Yeah, baby.
Yep.